Hello, welcome back to another segment in excerpts from a Spiritual Ascension. If you're watching this on the day that it's released, it is August 1st. And I was looking at my calendar earlier, and it is like the anniversary of the last day that I actually saw my 19-year-old son alive back in 2007. He We had gone down to Philadelphia to he was getting ready to attend Drexel University. Um, and we were going to attend his orientation. So I had taken a train down and met him from New York, and he had picked me up in New Jersey. We drove into Philadelphia and, spent the day together, had lunch together, and he, brought me back to New Jersey, dropped me off at the train station, and then took the train back into Manhattan. And it's like you never realize um, in those moments, like that, looking back, that not realizing that you'll maybe never see that person again. Um, But the title of this is about your path already being chosen. And as you know, you came here for a purpose, right? You chose this path. You were chosen to take the path that you're on. And thinking about my life, when I look back now, oh my goodness, like no clue did I ever think of, even like when I had him, as a baby, that I would be where I am now in um, where my whole world really kind of centers around my spiritual work. And he's one of the main reasons why this all came about. I believe his passing, that we have our soulmates that we make contracts with, before we come here, um, to say that you're going to play this part in my life. We have karmic soulmates, we have, family soulmates, just other random people who we meet along the way, um, that make up our path, and eventually we get to this place where we start our ascension process, our journey, right, towards enlightenment. And just thinking back that my whole life. And if you look back at your life too, if you are on this ascension journey, that the divine has set up your entire life to get to where you are now. So, like, for instance, um, with his passing, my family kind of became more split. And even though my sisters, if you've been watching my videos, um, you know that because of the religion that I was brought up in, that they um, started to shun me when I left that religion in my mid 20s and didn't want to have anything to do with me socially. But when my son did pass, they kind of did, come and um, gave me, I guess, what's expected of a family member to kind of console another family member. And then after that, they left. And it went right back to the way they had been treating me. But I had left New Jersey, where I was, you know, born and raised, and raised my kids. and decided to move to Manhattan because, I worked on Wall Street and wanted to be closer and not have to have that commute. But just these decisions that we make, which we think are kind of just random decisions as far as taking a job or making a move, but it's all a setup for you to eventually start on your journey at some point. And um, my moving to New York is where I had my first awakening, to understand that the religion I had been brought up in was not what I thought it was at all. There was a letting go of that illusion, but also my awakening into understanding who I was, that I had always had gifts, but they had been suppressed because of the religion, since I was a young child, and that my grandmother and father and even my son came through in spirit to tell me that you have these gifts and you need to pursue them in order to go about helping other people, later on. And the in order to bring about my gifts again, taking classes, and those were held in Manhattan. If I wasn't there, I probably, well, actually, it's kind of, they were only in person at that time because we hadn't gone through that transition where everybody was doing now a lot of Zoom calls and classes and things like that, to be able to do that in person. And in just so many other aspects of, you know, the people that I met along the way, more spiritual people that I had no idea there was a big spiritual community. I knew nothing about spirituality at that time. And again, even for yourself, if you look back at your own life, that you kind of say, oh, okay, there was a reason for me to take this job, or there was a reason for me to move from here to there, or there was a reason for me to meet this person, because you already chose that path so that you could eventually get to, the starting point of your ascension journey. Okay, so hopefully all that makes sense. So just wanted to do a short video on saying that your path was already chosen. You already chose your path before, you came here. And if you look back, you'll see how everything played out. And it's a perfect, it was a perfect plan that you had already set up for yourself. Okay. And leave it there. If you would like a reading, like to talk to me about your own journey, have any questions, about spirituality, there's a link below to, book time with me. Also, I've done several courses on the ascension journey, and that link is also below. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you next time.